Hello! Welcome to the world's first ever virtual rugby bar.
That's true. Welcome all Broughton Park people, and hello the wider rugby family. It's myself, Tom Booth.
And me, Grandmaster Ray.
Both of us are super sub first teamers. We've got a great night for you ahead. We wanted to do this because we're all bored at home, obviously. Spent the last 3 days editing things and getting things ready. So I hope everyone has a great night. Do comment throughout the night on the comment section. We do have you live. We will interact, give shout outs. Lots of things coming as well. If you look at the itinerary in the comments, there's lots of little prizes throughout the night. We've got a lot of awards as well. Special shout outs from great people, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I believe first we have a few introductions, don't we?
I think we do.
I think so. It's over to you. Was it?
I think it's to me.
To you?
To me.
But I'm not too sure what we go with this. By the way, it's the first time we've ever done something like this, so you're going to have to bear with us. Some technical difficulties might occur as the night goes on. We're obviously consuming lots of beverages, so we're not sure what might happen. So please bear with us.
Hello, Ray and Boothie. Hope you're having a great night hosting your first virtual bar for Broughton Park Rugby Club. And a message to you, not to me, to you. Pick Ray and Boothie for the first team. 8 and 9 combo. Hashtag pace from the front. Have a great day, guys.
Well, there you hear it first. One of our many special guests this evening. He did a shout out to us because he loves Broughton Park. Me and Boothie grew up watching him, and the rest of the Chuckle brothers. So what we wanted to introduce next was something that we've been doing to try and keep our members active. Since lockdown started, we've been trying to reach out to our members and do different things just to ensure that our members are active, keep moving and staying safe, all in the guidelines. So what we're going to do now is going to hand over to our Six Nations Challenge mastermind, Mr. Ollie Lancaster.
Looks like we're already having technical difficulties, so I do apologise.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, as our mate would say. Yeah, so all fun and games. Everyone's welcome to join in the ride. I'll give you a brief overview of what we're doing. So our challenge, our Six Nations Challenge is a rugby club for all members, from our mini and juniors all the way up to our seniors and non-playing members. what we're doing is we're planning on travelling the accumulative distance, that's a big word, accumulative distance to every away game in the Six Nations. I think it's a total of 7,000 something miles. Already this week, there's been a lot of people getting out there on the pavement, getting there, getting the miles in, getting on the bike. I know Fred Isaacs has been doing about 80 miles every weekend in training for this. Dave Hamby's also getting quite competitive. And I know a lot of I believe the South family, Fred and Billy, have been doing an excellent job. And also the Clifford family, including our main man, Biff. Oh, have we got the video up? Oh, no. I believe the next sort of videos we've got are going to introduce our quiz master. If you've ever been on one of our bus trips, especially if you're a male senior team or if you're in the minis and juniors, you might have experienced the Mark Lloyd quiz. So everyone grab a pen and paper and get ready, because this might be quite a tough quiz. I think the only person that might get any of these questions is Mr. David Hamby.
I can't, nothing's playing. So, typical Broughton Park style, absolute shambles.
Essentially, we not lastminute.com. We put everything on YouTube, and now everything's gone to pot. But we've got a backup. Our glorious saviour, our main man, the big cheese, top brass, is going to join us live. He's put his kids to bed, and we're going to go over live to Bowden in Cheshire.
Typical Broughton Park style, absolute shambles. Essentially, Duffy, welcome. Can you hear us?
Oh, mate, I've got you. Yeah, wow, look at this. Some technology does work. Well done, everyone.
I know. Do you know what? It's because some of the files were that big. I think it's just blown the internet upload speed. So,
mate, the beauty is in the intent, and it's beautiful.
Well, what we're going to do, we'll go on the Facebook page now, and each video we did upload to YouTube, so we'll send the YouTube link. How the hell we do Lloydie's quiz? He's going to kill me. I'm absolutely gutted as well. Some of the content was belted.
So what we're going to do, like I say, keep following the Facebook page. We'll post videos out in order that we're going to do them. And essentially, right now, we're going to talk to our main man, Mr. Duffs. So, Duffs, talk us through your history at Broughton Park. So, where did you start at our club?
Oh, mate, I started. I'll try and give you a year. I think the year was 1992 to 93.
What's going on here? YouTube. Sorry, YouTube.
Oh no! I moved house, and I moved next door to, some people might know, Christine and Peter Barber, and they had 3 sons: Simon, Graham, Paul. And basically, all it was this fat kid playing football in the street. And Christine knocked onto my mum and dad's house, and she didn't even say sort of like "welcome to the neighbourhood" or anything like that. It was like, "I think your son wants to play rugby. I'm going to take him on Sunday." And she took me for months. And that was my very first introduction to Broughton Park. I'd never played it in school, never heard of it really. Growing up in Manchester was Manchester United football, and that was it. The rest is history. Yeah, sorry, Ray. But yeah, that was the start of Broughton Park, and that was old school. That was in Chelsfield Grove, over the road from the club now. So that was class.
I'm looking at the quiz later. Remember what Duffy's just said.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Speak up, Ray, if you want me to ask questions. I've got a little bit of a volume issue.
Well, we're going to say we can't believe that you mentioned that you were a fat kid. I could never believe that for 1 second in my life. Look at now, trimming around all those miles you've been logging.
Mate, you've got technical issues. That's mine. Yeah, they're not in bed just yet. Here's your go, because the boys are going mad. Say that again, Ray.
I was being rude and detrimental towards men of larger size. No.
Speak up, brother.
Good.
Uvi, you ask the question or get closer.
Right, okay. I don't even know what you said, so we'll go. Right, have you got your questions, Ray?
Well, they were on there.
They were on there, but we closed this laptop. So, Duffs, what are you doing at the moment for us? You're director of rugby. Come on, what the hell does that mean?
Good question. And I asked the club, when the club asked me to become director of rugby, I asked them the same question: what does it entail? And it was pretty much just going, write your own job description. But the way I feel about director of rugby is, and sort of Christine alluded to it in her sort of recognition award, was that I think you just muck in. And as director of rugby, I just hope that I support people. So I help people have the best experience that they can have in the game throughout the club. It's been a bit difficult to start with for me. I found my feet a little bit because still being relatively young, I just want to feel some stuff out, see how things are going, and get some experience on the move. So I've spent a lot of time with the senior men. I connect with the junior stuff with Higgy. The women's stuff, I sort of keep in touch with Ollie and Hamby and just see what they're doing and how they're getting on. But, mate, for me, it would just be, how do I make that sort of member experience more valuable? So how do the kids love the game more? How do the women and the men love the game more and the club more and feel part of the community? So I think that as a director of rugby would be where I'm at and how I see my role at the moment.
That's a very good answer, to be fair, Duffs.
Hope so. How do you see my role, Boovy?
I mean, I remember rocking up, I think it was 2012, October time, you know, being a lot slimmer than what I am now, but still being very unfit. I think you were a head coach, first team. And then, you know, you'd come in and out. And so what else are you doing? Is it let's connect the dots a little bit. So I started off as 6-7 years old playing for the club. Quickly fell in love with the game. Like it was a game made for me. Turned my back on sort of football, and then was from at Broughton Park till I was about 13, 14, and then went to a place where I'm employed now. So I went to Sedbergh in the Lake District as like a bit of a rugby school, but I still played for the club on the weekends that was home. Went away, played some decent stuff, did all right, and then at some point came back as sort of coach of the team, then head coach of the team. Then spent a bit more time away, and then came back as director of rugby. And that was sort of my Broughton Park journey, really. You've done some stuff for England, haven't you? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, mate, class. Loved it. I think that's the beauty of the whole sort of club, is that it gives opportunity, and it gives opportunity to everybody. So you know, chubby kid from Burnage did all right. He found a sport that he loved. Found a club that he loved. The people in our club are awesome, and they sort of just inspired me. Mate, I could have done with that. I could have done with that when I was 15, 16. Mate, so I did okay. Played England schoolboys. Coached, played a bit of England counties before I just retired early with injury, and then was really lucky to sort of coach England under 16s in attack for a few years. There was a few boys playing today, England-Scotland game on both teams that was really privileged to be involved with and help and support. It's great, but it all stemmed from Park. So played Lancashire and all the other bits and bats when you were younger, sort of recognition stuff. But my memories and on the other side and in hindsight were always around Broughton Park and what that did for me as a kid. You know, it definitely gives you sort of a sense of belonging. It gives you a community that cares about you. The people. My two coaches were Aidan Carr and Ian McClure, and the junior chairman at the time was Dave Poppett. All still involved with the club now. And you know what? I don't think they'll mind me saying that. I don't think there was ever any sort of science to the coaching or anything like that, but it was just good people supporting kids and giving kids opportunities. So, yeah, everything stems back for me to Broughton Park, really.
What's your relationship like with the Big Orange, with Mark Lloyd?
Are you trying to make me an in fall out?
No. You do that.
I think Lloydie is. Let's try and sum Lloydie up in 3 words. Mate, have I had too many beers, or have I got double vision?
We had a whole segment planned. But,
mate, well, listen, I'll sum Lloydie up in 3 words. Passionate, negative, and I'll have a double-barreled one. Big softy.
He is a big softy. I agree with you.
Yeah, mate, he taught me more stuff. So he challenged me so much as a coach. So as a coach, I learned a lot working with him because he challenged me in everything that I was doing. So he was like, "Are you sure? I'm thinking this. You're thinking this. You really need to think about this." And even in my coaching time with him, it was like we'd fall out. We were like a married couple. But ultimately, we both had the good of the club at the heart of it, and we'd always agree to disagree, or we'd move forward. He was class. Often misunderstood on his 23rd pint of bitter on a Saturday night in the club. But mate, he loves the club, and if you wear black and white, he cares about you, and he'll love you, and he'll do whatever he can for you as well.
I think just touching on that softy point, I always remember, I think we were losing, it was the first team game, can't even remember, it was pissing down rain, hailstoning, and we were losing 30-0 half time, and everyone, it was that bad, Lloydie was like, get the fuck in, you know, sorry for his
apologies for the language.
And then everyone was falling out. Like, there were fists nearly going at each other. Everyone was scrapping at each other. And then Lloydie just went, this is not what Broughton Park do. And just, you know, from what, you know, he started the whole sort of everyone's going to, you know, bite. And then I think he saw the club going at each other in that first team period. And he just put a stop to it.
Mate, I grew up in the day and age where I was a kid that was training with like the first team, second team and stuff, where your likes of Biff, Beastie, Pooler, Tanky, and all these proper Kegsy. There were some legends of the game. Ronan was there. He was the young buck and I was the really young buck. And I'll just tell you a story quickly about my first ever senior tour at the rugby club. So I was 15, 16. And we went to Mellish. I think we went to Mellish or Nottingham area. I can't remember where it was. I had my dad's leather shoes on, my dad's leather jacket, my dad's Ben Sherman. And my mum gave me 20 quid and I came home with like 30. The boys looked after me on the first senior tour. But in terms of fighting, so you know the crack with a bit of a tour. We'll have a few beers, we'll have a bit of a laugh and stuff like that. But when you cross the whitewash, when you pull on the Broughton Park kit and the shirt to play a game, like there's like a button in everyone that switches, and it was definitely a sense of pride. So as hungover as we were, as sort of delicate as we were, it was like switch on, we're playing. And I'll never forget, we were playing a student team, and one of my sort of Broughton Park heroes, there's quite a few, John Russell, God bless this student, he just found himself on the wrong side of a ruck in the first minute. And JR sort of, it was in the day and age where you could remove these people yourself. And he sort of give this guy a piece of his mind around dodging his taxes as a student and give him sort of 12 pieces of aluminium all over his back. And I was just like, my eyes were like as a junior waking up, like these guys. So the fight in the pride, but they would make sure each other were on point. So no one let anyone down. When you wear the shirt, you wear it with pride. You fight tooth and nail. I don't think Broughton Park are a very skillful team or have a very skillful history, apart from you two. But what I think you've got with Broughton Park, and it's interesting speaking to people all around the country, is that they're really committed. They're a family club. They care. They're hard as nails. They'll do all the sort of dirty, hard work first, and then they'll try and play a little bit afterwards. So that's my thoughts on Broughton Park.
I think that's going out of the club at the moment there, Duffy. I think it's going out of rugby too much.
Considering me and you are sat wearing orange wigs,
we're losing.
Stream,
I think we're losing our.
Is the answer you want.
I think we're losing our.
For those academics, Boovy, for those academics on the line, so we've done a lot of research, and it's called Generation Z.
Oh, yeah.
So people just want to roll out of bed. They want to find an answer on YouTube and do the easiest, and they don't want to get muddy. But I think collectively, you go back to ask me my question around what I do for Broughton Park is that I hope we create an environment and a community that just cares for each other. And you know, whatever you want to achieve out of the game, then you get it at our club. So if you want to be aspirational. There was a question on Lloydie's quiz around people that went on and played Premiership. Well, we've just had Rafi Quirk. So he's just gone to Sale 2 years ago. England Sweaties, smashing it. Great A levels. He'll go on and do university. But he's sort of like a 1%er. But then we've just got great people that we want to come up into the first team, the second team, the third team. Kieran McNamara played hooker. Khalid come and played hooker. You know, these are 18-year-old lads that are playing first-team rugby. Then you Rich Loveday and all the guys playing second-team rugby. So you go on the stereotype of it's a game for all. Well, it's definitely a club and a family for all. So we'll find a place for everyone.
I think, like, obviously, I started rugby in the Southwest. And in rugby clubs in the Southwest, they tend to only have two sides. And to be honest, even though it's a big, like, rugby's the main sport in the Southwest, but they only ever have they have a big first team, 25 members, 30 members, big squads, and then they have like a bit of a shit reserves team. And then it goes, I think when I came to Broughton Park, it was like, Jesus Christ, how the hell do we put 5 teams out? So it's hard enough getting a reserves team out, you know, and we've, I know it's gone down a little bit at the moment, but, you know, hopefully we can get that back up. But I think it's amazing for a rugby club to get anywhere near 3-4 teams out week on week.
Oh, mate, yeah, but you go men, women, boys, girls. We've got a full mini and junior sections, cult sections, and that's, mate, it's a testament to all the guys involved. So, like, the people involved are volunteers, and those people, some of them will know a lot about the club, some people won't. And that's, I think, the beauty of what you've tried to do tonight and are doing at the minute is sort of like, we're trying to connect the community in a general purpose. So we're trying to get everyone together in under one roof and chat about the club that we love and the experience that it gives you. So that's really important for us. So like you said before, like you've got aspirational people, which we can cater for. You've got people that just love the game, that want to play every week with their mates. And you've got people that don't really love the game, that just want sausage and chips after a game and a few beers with their mates. And that's absolutely fine because there's a place for you with it, you know. And it's amazing what we've done with the women's team in the last couple of years, and a big shout out to them.
Yeah.
Amazing what we've done with the girls in the junior side of things. So that was cool. Mate, I've just picked up a bit of chat on the chat box about Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah, legend.
Mate, for those guys that don't know Kevin O'Brien, he was the most talented O'Brien. Ronan was the third behind Bob. But Kev O'Brien for me, so when I was, again, youngster, 15, 16, it was in the days when there wasn't much governance around the who plays for who. And I played a lot of third-team rugby with Kev in his later days. Mate, that guy was an unbelievable person. And he was probably one of the biggest influences me as a player. So before I found Peroni and cheese and pizzas and stuff like that, I was quite nimble. And all the old fellas at third team hated it when I sort of danced around them a little bit. And they used to give me a couple of slaps here and there, and I'd react, being a lively Broughton Park lad that I was. But Kev sort of like developed me as a human. So he was like, you don't react, you work harder than everyone else. And if we had like a 3-on-1 and I was outside Kev, I was like, just pass the ball, I'm in, it's all right. Kev would kick it down the pitch. And then I'd run after it. Fine, yeah, we'd get it back. It's all right. I was like, Kev, you've made the wrong decision. He said, no, I just wanted to see you work hard. I knew you'd get there. And he was all about sort of like just developing people and individuals. And Kev was definitely, and is definitely still, one of the biggest legends at the club. And I think, mate, it's always
he has the world's flattest pass as well, doesn't he?
He's never spinned the ball in his life. He's never spinned the ball in his life.
He also, on the Wednesday evenings, he still plays touch. I don't know how old he is, but he still runs.
Hey, I think lately he might have just hung up his boots, but mate, he's the general. So he is just the general.
You got to recognise with Kev as well. You know, Johan went from 15 to first team and was arguably one of our best centres
and the most handsome man ever.
Boovy, that was the most corrupt selection in the club that they've ever seen in the history. Just tell that story. Tell a story now quickly. So Johan,
like the Broughton Park Mafia.
Mate, Johan was this silky, sexy, French, flary, unbelievable skills, great pace. He was amazing, but no one had ever heard of him because Kev never said a word.
No chance. No chance.
He'd play in the fifth team, score 12 tries, and no one would say anything. Kev, you got any players you want to push up this week? Nah, no one this week, mate.
There's also Paddy Noon. I think has he had a first team? You know, people like that. You know, young kids need to start somewhere at the club, and whether it's fifth, fourth, third, second team, they all start at different rates, or they all get groomed. Maybe should we say in terms of
wrong choice of word?
Wrong choice of word, but you know what I mean.
You got.
Oh, mate, it goes back to my point before. It depends what you're after. If you want to laugh with your mates in the third team and that's all you're interested in, then fair enough. I think Fred Isaacs, I don't know if Fred's on tonight, Fred, I had the best conversation with I've ever had in the club, and Fred just said to me, like, he was doing all right at training, and Fred was doing all right in the seconds. I was like, I like this guy. Fred, do you want to play first team? No. Why? Oh, mate, I just want to chill out with my mates in the seconds. Sometimes I'll come training, sometimes I won't. And mate, you've just got to respect people like that. But when they pull on the jersey, like, he does a great job. He's awesome.
Friday beer, don't they?
I remember when me and you used to go out most Fridays. Beastie's first team manager
as well.
He used to bring a breathalyzer to the first team changing rooms, and there'd be Andy Telford sat in the corner, quiet as a mouse, always blow 5 times over the limit, and he'd always got one man of the match.
Fred Isaac had just said, "Sign me up for a few beers in the freeze."
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, mate, and Fred, you just had to stop playing so well, and you might get a game in the threes. You're doing all right.
Dave Rogers has thrown some spanners in the works. Says, anyone remember Broughton Park FC 4th team versus KOB's 5th team?
Mate, I think KOB's 5th team. I think KOB's 5th team in that year were in the 3rd teams league.
Yeah.
They'd overtook the 4th team.
It's just numbers at the end of the day. Just numbers.
Yeah. But mate, is just go back to some points here around sort of like the junior section, and then we'll work ourselves up. So, what does it mean for someone in our community to be playing for Broughton Park at the moment? And it's sort of like a mixed bag. And I think this is our USP as a club, is that, we have every sort of cross section of society. So, we have people from every walk of life. You have people that are, find life tough, and we support them. You have high-flying people in big firms, and they contribute. And it's just an amazing melting pot. And you see that within the junior section at the moment. So it's the first time for a long time that we've got a full complement of juniors all the way through. And people have fought tooth and nail to keep people alive and teams alive and keep playing. So I think that should be celebrated tonight. I knew we were going to do it, Boovy, wasn't we, and Ray? We were going to talk about in some of the awards that people got around, the great work and time that they invest into our junior section. And you saw that this week with Ollie's physical challenge. So sort of get up, get out, get moving, connect. And we hit a milestone. So I hope Ollie's listening. And I'm just passing on some information for everyone that in that physical challenge that we set this week, it was just about being physically healthy and getting on your toes and doing some stuff. But we did over 1,000 miles this week as a club. And I think there was contributions from pretty much everybody. So the under 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, all the way through women's, men's, non-playing members. That was a huge effort. Did you get any more info off Ollie?
Yeah, the grand total at the start of this was 1,409 miles covered by the whole group from Broughton Park. Yeah,
Ray, just explain a little bit more about that physical challenge and what we need people to do next week.
Yeah, so essentially, get out on your bike if you've got one. You can cycle at home on a cross trainer, running machine, whatever you want. Go out and walk. Obviously, stay within whatever restrictions we have. The aim is we want to reach out to as many of our members, old, young, playing, non-playing. We just want you to get out and get active.
Yeah, class. Boovy, you're not going to try and pretend to play this video again.
No, but I'm just showing him. It's a shame because a nice mind for him as well.
Boovy, just explain to everyone here, mate, what you're going to do with a lot of the videos. So when we bore people and people sort of log out of this, so where can they find some, mate? Because just before you start, Boovy, let me thank you for everything that you've done. So the last couple of days, even though it's a bit of an anticlimax. Getting me and the two Lloydies together.
Can I just say you're the first person to ever say that either?
Mate, I think you've done an amazing job. So listen, just tell the people where they can find some amazing videos about the awards, about the quiz.
I'm an admin on the Broughton Park Facebook page. So what I'm going to do, we've got 6 awards and I've got videos for each award. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order. Please congratulate people as well, because those people deserve huge recognition in the rugby club, and I've done a great job throughout mini juniors, women's and men's, so if everyone can just engage with that, and I'm sure if we did it live, it would have been good. We've then got the big orange quiz, hence the wigs. So that is a shame that we can't broadcast that either. Lloydie did want to do it live actually, which is a shame because we could have had him done on here now. The entertainer himself. So what else have we got? We got a few nice shout outs. We've obviously had Paul Chuckle. I don't know if anyone saw that. We've also got Wagner as well. The man does follow Broughton Park. For those who don't know, he was this X Factor superstar. And then what else we got, Ray?
We've got some karaoke. We've got some karaoke entries. We'll put those on. And then we've got our answers to the quiz. And then we have a very special treat at the end. Some of our former members, I'm not sure if you know, a man called Tim Cocker and Jonathan Beardmore. They run a podcast called the Egg Chasers Podcast. And what they've done is they've done a Broughton Park special, which we're going to stream live. And it's all about their experiences with the club because they're both former members. And Tim Cocker's a XFM former radio DJ, BT Sport, rugby pundit. We just reached out to them and they said, because of the amazing things that Broughton Park do, they'd love to get involved.
Ray Boothie, I'm going to set you a challenge. So I'm going to set you guys a challenge of by 8:10, we'll sign off and let people interact with the Facebook links that you do. But I think next time we have learned around sort of compressing some stuff early and knocking some stuff up. So great effort to start with.
It was
we did the teething problems.
So we did a test. We did a test link. Everything. We've done 4 tests. It worked beautifully throughout. And then it must be because everyone's logged on tonight, like around the internet, and it's just not doing it. So
don't stress, mate. Like I said, beauty is in the intent, and you've smashed the intent. So we'll crack on here. Have you got any more questions for me?
It was just really leading on from what you were saying before. What are your aims and intentions as DOR for the next few years and your vision for the club?
Yeah, cool. Good question. And I think it's something that everyone on here can relate to. Bit cliche, bit same, but, when you play for a club and you want to give your best and do your best, is that you just leave it in a better place than you found it. But I've had big shoes to fill, not just Lloydie's size 12s or Marsland's size 8s. But like those guys have give everything to the club, and I respect them enormously. So yeah, just to leave it in a better place than I found it. And if you can touch up a few things here, and there's masses at Broughton Park which you could make better. But actually, for the time being, it's just about the little wins. Let's just make sure as many people can love the game as much. So I think my thing with COVID in mind is making sure that we have a decent return. So let's get as many people back in the game as we can. So that would be my intentions. And then for you guys, for senior men and women, it's about value to membership. So why would you want to play for Broughton Park ahead of anyone else? And something Higgy and I have talked about is how do we become the best community club in Greater Manchester? I think we're already sort of 75, 80% of the way there. It doesn't mean winning every week, though we are seriously competitive. With the Burnage win at the end of last season, or the last game we played, like we're good. When we want to be good, we're seriously good. But it is about, getting as many teams out as we can, men and women, and then just, having the crack in the bar afterwards.
I think the big crack as well, just touching on that Burnage game, there's nothing better than winding the opposition up. And, to have their head coach literally throw his toys out the pram at everyone. Taxi for Burnage was boring Burnage. We were singing, see you in the Met, see you in the Met. That was in the changing rooms. I don't think we would have taken that very well, but
no, but it's really interesting. Mate, it's really interesting that the derby with Burnage. They're a good club. They're very competitive. We go toe to toe with each other, and it's always a tough encounter. I do think the rivalry is probably more in the Dog and Partridge in Didsbury or the Met in West Didsbury than on a pitch. Mate, it's a good derby, but yeah, we're good when we want to be. That's my issue. So it's sort of like we just probably want to be a bit good a bit more of the time, and a bit inclusive a bit more of the time, and just keep touching up on stuff.
One of the videos that we sort of had was a highlights of the Stockport game last year, and can I just say that there was no highlights in that game whatsoever, apart from I think I condensed the video to 5 minutes, and there's about 7 drop balls just in that highlights scene. You know, maybe people are getting on a bit too much, like, you know, Adi Deo might need some of that handball wax a bit more these days, you know, but yeah, I think that just highlighted how bad we can be, and then we go and then turn towards Burnage, who are our arch rivals,
and everything goes right, and it's just that,
and just perform, you know, like we did at the end, where, you know, I think we looked 2 leagues above them at the time. I mean, they don't play the most flamboyant rugby in the world, Burnage. But, you know, and we play a bit more open, I think, as a club, which is good. I remember a certain 2 coaches that tried to condense us a bit. And then once we actually said, there was a famous saying, few wins with someone.
7 wins with Boothie and Ray.
Yeah.
Still not better.
You know, and, you know, we went on a good winning, I can't even say it, I've had that many beers, good winning spree, you know, and we're doing, I think we'll come back strong from COVID.
Yeah, I do. We've got a good set of lads, and we're very well led. We've got good people in the middle of it, and that's what the club specialises in, is good people. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Touching on sort of that DOR role, Boovie, very quickly, because I think it's important as you're sat there swigging Buckfast and Skinny. Part of my role was around sponsorship, which helps around that member sort of experience. And if there is any members or sponsors watching tonight, thank you for your contribution in a year where you've not seen much rugby. You know, we value everything you've done for us to keep the club alive, really. You know, we've had some good stuff when we've been allowed to do some stuff, and without that sponsorship, we certainly wouldn't have been able to do an awful lot. So the first team have got a new kit, second team got a new kit, the girls will be getting a new kit, and that's all down to generous sponsors. So thanks to those guys, if any of them are watching, really.
I think there's a few more ex-club members as well, especially who I know, who could get involved a bit more on that side. And, you know, they must have quite thick wallets. They're not getting out as well, not putting it behind the bar. So, you know, it's time.
Yeah. Boovie, so the other thing is that when people come back, we're talking about the return post-COVID. We've spent a bit of time and energy on the bar. So, you know, we're talking about what the offer is behind the bar, making it more efficient, making it better for sort of the members, and a better supply of everything to drink afterwards to keep guys there. Sneezeby's done a lot of stuff around the design of the clubhouse and the social spaces. And I know in a couple of weeks, when we get these technical issues out the way, we can do some fundraising and some crowdfunding or match funding around developing our social areas. So that's something that we're really keen to do for a Saturday and a Sunday. So for all our playing members in the men's, women's and the juniors, that we want it to be a better social space where people feel comfortable. Bring families, bring kids, bring mums and dads, bring wives and girlfriends, boyfriends, to enjoy Broughton Park a little bit more. But that's already started. So, and that was down to the sponsors. So class work.
We've had an idea, and it came from our main IT man, Dave Hamby. What we might do is we might publish a link on here for a Zoom.
Yeah.
And we might just share the videos so everyone can see it. So we'll post them in the WhatsApp group and on the Facebook page after we finished our chat. And what we'll do is admit Broughton Park members as many as we can. And we'll try and put this on with the videos that we did with the quiz and the karaoke, because believe it or not, there's some absolutely... We haven't stitched people.
Oh, mate, it's cold. I've been privy to some of the stuff, and believe me, if you know, we have still got at least 5 people watching, because I can see the chat box.
We've got 47 apparently.
Well, listen, let me tell you now, the effort you guys have done and the energy you've given it is awesome, and you deserve a massive round of applause. And when the bar is open, I'll get Lloydie and Higgy and all them guys, Tim, to buy you a beer. You know what I'm like. You know, times are hard, so. as long as those guys get you on. You've done a great job, so well done. So do make sure you share it because everyone will want to see it.
Content for the social media for the next couple of months anyway. So yeah, I've done someone's job.
Good stuff. So listen, let me ask you two a question. So why have you two reprobates ended up at Broughton Park? Because you didn't come through the mini and junior section. So how did you end up at the club, and why did you stay at the club?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, go on.
From Birmingham boy, came up to university at 18. I googled rugby clubs in Manchester, ended up at Manchester Rugby Club, ended up on one of the, I think as a semi-professional team, they had the longest losing streak in semi-professional history. And then through guys like Mark McConnell, Blake Mahovic, ended up coming down to the rugby club, seeing 5 social teams, met this idiot, been inseparable ever since, loved that after every Saturday there's about 100 people plus in the bar, just having a drink, having a good time. And when you're a university student, I know which we appeal to because we've got quite a lot of medics and MMU and Manchester University students, ladies and gents. It was just something that appealed to me, and it was one of those things. Won't get rid of me now.
Good. Go on, Boovie.
I think everyone knows I've had 2 glass knees from a young age, and when I went to uni in Manchester, then went to Sedgley Park. Obviously didn't make it there, wasn't good enough. And then I think Richard Senior and people were there at that time. And I just had, I think at 20, I got one more injury and sort of fuck it, can't be arsed with rugby anymore for a year. Enjoyed my final year of uni. And then when I was 21, October time, I think it was, after pre-season, avoid pre-season at all costs. I thought, right, I'll rock up. And then I was just a bit blown away, actually. It was a friend's brother, actually, who played for Tilsley Rugby Club. And then he said, go to Broughton Park, their pitch is amazing. And then when I Googled it and found that it was a wide pitch, that wasn't really for me, but I got over that. And just rocked up anyway. I think I met yourself and Dave Handy and Phil Sutcliffe, old Phil, legend, didn't pick me, bastard. And then I just sort of fell in love with that social scene, met people like Rob Smith, Ray Bold, loads of others after, and
you are the definition of a social floater. You were just, mate, the first club that loved you, you'd be in with. That was it. And we got the first opportunity.
But actually, I must confess, I think Broughton Park has helped me, sort of lay roots down in Manchester. I'm from Manchester originally, mum and dad, but grew up down south, but then came back up, and I just didn't want to leave because rugby club gives you that sort of stability, doesn't it? It's somewhere to escape at the weekend, forget about all the shit that's going on at the week, and then I just couldn't bear to move on to another rugby club. And
no one would have you. No one would have you. So listen, tell me, I'll let you in on some info with me in a second. I'll give you a few of the people that sort of had a huge influence on me. So think of on the spot, and I'll go to you first, Boovie, actually. Who are the sort of 2 or 3 people that you think have really sort of inspired you at the club, or you've connected with at the club, that have made you just feel at home with it?
I think Dave Rogers, first of all, junior and senior, to be fair. I think he sort of lives and breathes Broughton Park, and you give him 5 beers, he chats your head off about it. That's it, and you just can't. And he'll pet your head, even if you even dare to leave, he'll pet your head. So that's great. I think Mark Lloyd, to be honest. Although no, I know. Again, I think every club needs a Mark Lloyd. It needs that sort of miserable leader to bring everyone down. You know, I'll never forget this. Right, I went to Ware Ice Project on a Friday night. This is when I first joined, playing for the twos. I was absolutely gone. I came. I think I still had a Christmas jumper on, and I was like, Neil Parkin was who was actually my next one, although he's not at the club at the moment. Parkin was a very good team manager. You know, didn't know rugby too well, in my opinion, of rugby coaching, but great with the lads and brought them all together. But yeah, I came back. It was one Saturday morning. I went, Neil, not a chance I can start. Like, I've been sick 5 times. You know, I'm done. But he went, that's all right. That's all right. So I came on the second half. It was Wirral twos, difficult team, old school boys. You know, just want a little fight. Came on at 8. I think I scored 3 tries. Scored my hat trick. Won the game. Last try like that. Lloydie just went, "You're a disgrace."
He was right. He was right. He knows you well.
He was so upset with me that I turned up, you know, half pissed in a Christmas jumper and refused. I think I basically had my hands in my pocket, bad attitude, terrible. You know, and I don't condone this to anyone. You know, don't do it. It's not really fair on your teammates, and it's not good sporting etiquette. You know, but I did it. I was young, stupid, naive, and then yes, scored 3 tries. You're a disgrace. And I thought, you know what? Like, Lloydie does set the standards sometimes, and I think everyone needs that.
Yeah. Go on, Ray. Ray, who's impacted on you whilst you've been at Park?
People like Higgy, the amount of time he gives. People like Dell, he's there pretty much 5-6 nights a week with the kids on a Wednesday night with Kev O'Brien, and he's there first in the bar, last to leave. Obviously, everyone absolutely loves Dell. The wrestling nights he puts on for the minis and juniors, got a lot of time for him. People like Matt Larson when they're at the club, Beastie Senior, the guys that run everything behind the scenes that just are so passionate about Broughton Park that they just enthuse everyone else around them. Boothie stole all the rest of them with people like Lloydie. Nothing more I love better seeing than Lloydie bringing out the chair and doing a line-out session. Because you know it's going to be technical, you know it's going to be good, but considering the line-outs haven't changed for so long, we just give it Dr. Steve, don't we? Other than that, it's just the guys, the players, guys that are there every Saturday, the ones that stay and have a beer. Just
there's some massive characters at our rugby club. Like Hugh, you know, I don't even think it's fair to say 3 people, you know, of who inspired you, because even people like Marsland, just what a fucking bloke he is. Like, you know, he's not swearing.
Boothie, you not seen the chat bar? Someone wants Davina in here, McCall, to control your language. Just calm it down. You're excited.
That is, it is terrible rugby etiquette.
Well, listen, let me give you a couple of people that sort of impacted on me as a kid, and it was when I was very young, and I used to come down and watch the first team on a Saturday and then play juniors on a Sunday, and it was Higgy actually, and it was Higgy because I couldn't believe that like this prop was playing in the centres, and at the same time I was at the same time, this is gospel. At the same time, I was propping for the juniors, and I was like, nah, there's no way I'm propping anymore. I'm going to be like that man. And Higgy inspired me to do some of the stuff and develop my skills. And I used to love watching the first team and watching Higgy play. And he definitely inspired me and nudged me from that position. Moving up, Kev O'Brien definitely got me. So Kev O'Brien was... he just instilled all the things that you were meant to instill in young people around good values, good behaviours, and doing some stuff. And then probably later on, so I would talk about my teammate. Do you know Tom Birch?
Yeah.
So Birchy was like,
hey, and then I was like, "What's up?" And then he didn't get back to me.
Mate, let me just as a junior, let me tell you, Birchy was the most talented one out of all of us. Mate, but as a temper and a hothead, like he just lose the plot. But I love people like Birchie.
Yeah.
Al Hodge. So Al Hodge taught me a lot growing up. Lynn and Bryn Morgan. So, mate, there was loads of people. I could talk all day. Lloydie, Phil Sutcliffe, Biff, Beastie, Pooler, all these guys. John Knight. So Knighty, you wouldn't know, I don't think, but played first team back in the day. So they were all class. But people like, so I used to live around the corner from Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Do you remember Barry, the late Barry Allen? And Barry used to go on his little 3-piece sort of bike thing that was on the ground. It was like, I didn't know what it was called. But, mate, the window was down, all right, Baz, and he'd give you a big thumbs up. But, mate, there was just, for me, and I think it would be sort of a nudge to current senior men and women. So current senior men and women at the club to go and find an old fella on a weekend or an old woman on a weekend. Go and buy a pint and have a chat with them and connect with them, because there's some quality stories and some great characters, like you said. But they're cool.
I think, and Del Trotter's one for me as well. Just loves life, loves rugby. He has lots of opinions like myself, so I appreciate that as well. Love a good tea bag, and not like that, but just throwing it in there every now and again.
Who was that movie?
Del Trotter.
Mate, you've mentioned Del Trotter to get some free Ferrero Rocher. I know your game.
Kinder's more my thing, and that's also for same company.
Listen,
he represents.
Listen, what I was going to say to you is, I'm in the kids' room here now, so just bear with me. But what I was going to say is, we've got 7 minutes. But if there's any questions that come in, so I see Beastie, Alfie, Fred, Carl, Paul, Ray's on, Higgy's on, Pippa's on. There's quite a few people on, so if they want any sort of chuck anything in that chat box, chuck it in.
I think.
But you boys, you sent me some questions, so fire away with a couple more.
Just said Birchie got sent off at a Sales FC Vets match for cracking the opposition after the final whistle. Before the final whistle. Before
I was there. And,
it doesn't. That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me.
Johnny Carter,
Ray Bold,
a member that came to referee the game, and he looked at Birchie and went, "Oh God, you're here." And he
Ray, steer the conversation back to normal. Give us some normal questions.
There are no normal questions in this rugby club. Have you not seen? Right, prediction for next year. Come on.
Prediction for next year. So I've set Higgy a challenge, and Tim and the rest of the coaching guys. So I would love Broughton Park to consistently be in the top 4 all year. Dead easy. However, how do we do that? So how do we do that? Off the pitch, we need a real good set of men that are together, that have a communal goal, like a togetherness, that get in the pub with each other, that train hard with each other. For the women to just grow, so to get more numbers to training, to just keep making those 1%ers and keep getting better as a team. And with Hamby and Ollie, they've got 2 good guys coaching them. So that's first and second team. First team on the pitch, I think Higgy and Tim. I don't think any club, and Lloydie and Biff and Frank and the other coaches and Ray that get involved, I don't think there's a bigger heart and soul from a coaching group in any other club. However, I do think they're pretty nice. I do think they're very nice. And I'd love them to be a little bit more like, sort your shit out and get on with it. Let's move forward. Let's crack on. Let's get better. So that's on the pitch. But they're the best people in the world, and I wouldn't have any other people coaching the lads than them.
Great.
Yeah, off the pitch.
Great question. So number 1, Jack Welton, the Taff himself, has said, "What was it like growing up with Warren Duffy?"
What about the best Duffy? Joe
Yeah.
The best Duffy.
If I was to turn it round on you guys and said, "What do you think it was like growing up with Warren Duffy?" What would you say?
Who stole the chips first?
Mate, I hope my brother's watching. I hope my brother's watching when I answer this one. I would say growing up with Warren Duffy was interesting. It was definitely based around WWF. So we definitely did a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, wrestling moves. What I would say is me and Woz got to a position years ago where we were good mates, best mates, and that we just joined forces and smashed it. It was difficult coaching, Woz, because it's your brother, and I was probably harder on him than anyone else. But what I would say is that he repaid me masses by just caring the most. So Warren would agree that he wasn't the most talented, but very much deserved his time in the first team, very much deserved all the tries he scored. He had a lot of good success at the club. He was a great guy for the club. And I would pick Warren ahead of lots of people that were more talented than him, because he cared more and he gave more to the club. So it was, yeah, I loved him bits. I loved him, his brother, but it was hard coaching him.
No worries, no worries. Someone has asked, who is the best current player at the rugby club?
You can't say
The best current player, mate. There's a few. Mate, I could be on it all day long here. I could go all day. Tom Julian's the best prop in the league. Kieran McNamara could play 3 leagues above. Khalid could play first team consistently. Steve Edgar could play 2 leagues above. The back row is awesome. Matt Hodgkinson, oh mate, sexy. Josh Hodgkinson, annoying but so talented. Like, he's class but annoying. But I love him to bits. Hursty, silky, class. What I would say is, and here's something that I would say is, if you were to sort of look back in the last couple of years as a bit of a recognition award, I would say 3 players in my time as coaching that were, let me say, how do I put this? So legend is a strong term, but 3 legends in the club that I would give you is number 1, Dave Hamby.
Yeah, agreed.
And why? He's the most beautiful person in the world. He'd throw his body in front of a double-decker bus. He would sponge it, so he'd soak everything in, all the information, and relay it to the lads. He was easily the best captain, easily. Paddy would go in the group, but I'm not going to put him in the group because he's give up a little bit too early. I love Paddy, and he knows that. Paddy's got fat. He's got the dad bod early. And the other two that I would say is Ronan and Addy. So Addy, at the end, really did my head in because he hated contact. But I don't think anybody scored as many tries as Addy. Like, he was fucking awesome. Like, score. Every time he touched the ball, he would score. Ronan, I love Ronan. Ronan was probably one of the most talented players at the club. And one of the most awkward, like, difficult players, because I'm a really good mate with Ro, but when we crossed that coach-mate barrier, we fell out a few times. But mate, if you needed a penalty kick in from 60 metres in the last second in a cup final to win a game, I would put all my money on Ronan O'Brien nailing it.
Do you remember that Glossop game? Glossop away, it was about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was extra time. He took it from 55 yards.
And Rick as well, did it?
Yeah. But I think the Glossop one was even better than that. It might have even been 60. I even remember, obviously, on the sidelines, like a Tom Booth.
Ronan was the most talented player at the club. He could do everything apart from tackle.
Yeah, well, I can name it.
But he wasn't there to tackle.
No, yeah, exactly. That's why you need good flankers around him.
We spoke about the.
Do you know any?
Not seen any for a while.
We've spoken about the men, Duffs. What about the ladies' team? What talented players have you got in there that you know of?
Oh, mate, who was the England international that you had down playing for you? Katie someone?
Georgia Sutherland, England Rugby League. I've never seen so.
Hey, we were talking about Georgia Sutherland last night, me and Hamby, and I was like, who was that girl in the centre there? Like, she was incredible.
Yeah.
Georgia Sutherland, like, powerful, athletic, like, just absolutely smashed it.
Where is she now?
I've never seen someone bash through the middle of a ruck and knock 5 people out of the way in a ladies' game. And then you've got Bex Wilson as well, former GB bobsledder when she comes down.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Darryl Gray, I've never seen someone do a show and go like it.
Slow and go, Daz. She won't mind me saying that. Daz is sound. Daz owes me a bottle of Prosecco. She's all right.
Right, we're at 10 past Duffs. So I think we should let everyone crack on with the night, and we'll try and get this Zoom going and show the videos. We'll post them online as well, because those people that need recognition, you know, well, they don't need it. You know what I mean? They deserve it. So
it was nice to share, Boovie. It's nice to share.
Yeah, it's absolutely. You know, I think every single person in the club appreciates these people. So we'll do that. Lloydie's quiz will go. Let's maybe we put like a 9 o'clock curfew on Lloydie's quiz as well, so for people to send their answers, and then we'll crack on from there and have a great night.
And one final thing from us, Duffs. Thank you for saving us.
Yeah. I won't mind, but I give you all the beers tonight as well.
You know what? Sometimes I just need to think. It's not possible, Tom. Not possible.
Mate, it's always possible. So listen, let me tell you about the next one when we do it again, is that you're going to have the same amount of people, if not more, connecting with us, and it'll be awesome. And listen, I'm not taking the piss. Like, the intent and the time and the effort that you've put towards it is awesome. So thank you and well done. And I can't wait to be part of the next one. And we'll get some other people in. Boovie, Ray, I think what's really important is that I was trying to squeeze in at some point is, if anyone does have any ideas or thoughts around what we can deliver or what they're interested in or any other things, then let's just drop us a line, connect with us, and, you know, we'll get more and more people involved, and it'll grow bigger and bigger, and everyone will be, you know, it'll be class.
Yeah. And I think we're going to be another 2-3 months, aren't we, realistically, until we start this tier process. Obviously, I'm not Boris Johnson. Might look a bit like the fact, but
you do look a bit like now.
You're more Claire Bolden.
Yeah.
Boovie, Ray, I think Paddy's just struck a chord with me as well, just on one of his comments there, that, you know, listen, the club are doing so much behind the scenes to welcome people back, and I think it is important to do some stuff like this and connect with its membership base and its community and you know, the people that we care about. Fingers crossed there's light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine and stuff like that that's being rolled about. I do think sport's going to get given a green light at some point, you know, whether that just be for the juniors, you know, we don't know. Let's wait and see. All I can sort of reassure with people is that when they do get back, that we want the club to be better than it was before. And we want them to enjoy wearing the shirt more than they ever have before. So stick with us, stay safe, keep doing the right thing. And, you know, when we get back, we will have the biggest and best party that we've ever had. And it'll be...
2 club dinners.
I don't think it'll be memorable.
2 club dinners, mate.
You can have brunch and dinner.
Yeah. I think 2 days dinner on that one. Sorry.
I think this might be an appropriate time to stop it.
Yeah.
Duffy, really appreciate you saving our lives here.
I was, my heart was going 1,000 miles an hour there. Thinking, I've just spent 3 days wasting my time, and you know, technology does fail everyone. So don't ever say that it doesn't, because it does. I still don't know the England-Scotland score, so don't tell me. I don't think it's very good from the reaction on the rugby group with some Tyler guy who I'm refusing to know right now. But yeah, we'll get there.
What we'll do, actions from this, we'll put a link out on Facebook page, probably starting about 8:45 in half an hour, a Zoom. We'll go through the videos.
Good on you.
And then we'll take it from there. But
have a great night.
Thanks,
and really well done.
Love you. See you all soon.